The air was thick and cold, and the walls of the cave seemed to squeeze tighter with every breath. Alex's heart raced as he realized something terrifying. There was no way to turn around, and the path ahead seemed even narrower. How had a fun caving trip turned into this nightmare? It all started on a crisp Saturday morning when Alex, his adventurous cousin Jake, and their nature-loving friend Lily decided to explore the infamous Upper Milerton Lake Cave. Known for its challenging passages and hidden beauty, the cave was a hotspot for thrill-seekers and seasoned cavers. The trio had spent weeks planning their trip, watching videos, and reading stories about the cave's unique structure. It was said to be a maze of tight squeezes, winding tunnels, and breathtaking chambers. Jake, the most experienced of the group, assured them it would be an epic adventure. Armed with helmets, flashlights, ropes, and snacks, the group set out with excitement bubbling in their hearts. None of them had any idea how dangerous their journey would become. The entrance to the cave was wide and welcoming, with sunlight spilling over the rocky terrain. They climbed down carefully, their flashlights piercing the darkness ahead. The first few minutes felt thrilling. The cave walls glittered with tiny crystals, and the echo of their voices made everything feel larger than life. "This is incredible," Lily said, her voice bouncing off the walls. "See, told you it'd be fun," Jake replied with a grin. But as they ventured deeper, the tunnels became tighter, forcing them to crouch and crawl. The laughter faded, replaced by quiet concentration. The air grew cooler, and the once beautiful walls turned into rough, jagged stone. "I didn't think it'd be this cramped," Alex muttered, brushing dirt off his gloves. "It's part of the experience," Jake said confidently, leading the way. About an hour into their journey, they reached their first major obstacle, a tunnel so narrow it looked impossible to fit through. Jake knelt down, shining his flashlight into the tiny opening. "This is the way," he said. "You've got to be kidding," Alex replied, staring at the space. "It's tight, but it opens up on the other side," Jake reassured him. "Trust me." Reluctantly, Alex followed as Jake slid into the tunnel head first. Lily went next, wriggling through with surprising ease. When it was Alex's turn, he hesitated, his stomach churning. "Come on, you've got this," Jake called from the other side. Taking a deep breath, Alex pushed himself forward. The cold rock scraped against his arms and legs as he inched through the passage. His heart pounded, and for a moment, he felt like he couldn't breathe. But eventually, he emerged on the other side, gasping for air. "See? Easy," Jake said with a wink. Alex didn't respond. Something about the tunnel unsettled him, but he didn't want to ruin the trip for everyone else. The group pressed on, crawling through more tight passages and sliding down slippery rock faces. Jake checked his map frequently, confident they were heading in the right direction. But then, they hit a fork in the path. "Left or right?" Lily asked, shining her flashlight at the two tunnels. Jake studied the map, his brow furrowed. "Left, I think," he said. "You think?" Alex asked, his voice edged with concern. Jake shrugged. "It's all part of the adventure." They followed Jake into the left tunnel, which quickly became narrower and steeper. The group crawled on their stomachs, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air felt heavier, and Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading deeper into trouble. After what felt like hours, the tunnel came to a sudden dead end. "You've got to be kidding me," Lily said, her voice filled with frustration. Jake turned red. "Okay, maybe I made a mistake." "Mistake?" Alex snapped. "We're lost, Jake." The group's panic began to rise. They were deep underground, with no clear way back. The map didn't match their surroundings anymore, and their water supplies were running low. "We just need to backtrack," Jake said, trying to sound calm. But backing out of the tight tunnel was easier said than done. Alex's arms ached as he pushed himself backward, his body scraping against the rough rock. Every inch felt like a battle, and the darkness seemed to close in around him. As they crawled back, they reached a section of the tunnel that was even narrower than before. Jake went first, squeezing through with difficulty. Lily followed, her small frame making it slightly easier. But when it was Alex's turn, he got stuck. "Guys," he called, his voice trembling. "I can't move." "Stay calm," Jake said from the other side. "Just wiggle your way through." Alex tried, but the more he struggled, the tighter the space seemed to become. His chest was pinned against the rock, and his breathing grew shallow. "Alex, stop moving," Lily said gently. "Take deep breaths. You'll be okay." It took several agonizing minutes, but with Jake and Lily's guidance, Alex finally freed himself and emerged from the narrow tunnel, his body trembling. By now, the group was exhausted. Their once strong flashlights were dimming, and their supplies were almost gone. The cold, damp air chilled them to the bone. "We need to find the main path," Jake said, his voice filled with determination. But the cave seemed to have other plans. Every tunnel looked the same, and the walls seemed to shift like a living maze. Lily tripped on a loose rock, twisting her ankle. Alex helped her up, but the incident slowed them down even more. Time felt like it was slipping away, and the group's fear grew with every passing moment. Just when hope seemed lost, Alex noticed something, a faint glimmer of light in the distance. "Do you see that?" he asked, his voice filled with cautious hope. Jake and Lily turned their flashlights toward the direction Alex was pointing. It was faint, but it was definitely there, a tiny, flickering light that seemed to beckon them forward. "That has to be the way out," Jake said, his energy renewed. The group pushed forward, their exhaustion momentarily forgotten. The tunnel widened, and the air grew fresher. The faint light became brighter, guiding them like a beacon. When they finally emerged from the cave, the sunlight felt blindingly bright. The group collapsed onto the grass, their bodies aching and their hearts pounding with relief. "We made it," Lily said, tears streaming down her face. Alex lay on his back, staring up at the clear blue sky. The open air felt like a miracle after the suffocating darkness of the cave. As they packed up their gear and headed back to their car, the group was quiet, each of them lost in their thoughts. "That was intense," Jake finally said, breaking the silence. Alex nodded. "I don't think I'll ever look at caves the same way again." The trip had been far more than they'd bargained for. It tested their strength, their courage, and their ability to work together. And while they were grateful to have made it out, they knew they'd never forget the terror of being lost inside the most congested cave. For Alex, it was a lesson he'd carry for the rest of his life. Sometimes, adventure isn't about conquering nature, it's about surviving it. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more amazing cave stories.